Hello and welcome. This is your Wish Upon a Star Lunar Horoscope for Tuesday, May 11, 2021. Luna will be voyaging to the sign of Taurus the Bull, bringing resolve, purpose, enthusiasm, rowdiness, also sacred space, as well as an intrinsic urge to look to and to look for and to get a hold of all the really good things in life. The new moon occurs while transiting through the fourth mansion of the moon at 7 p.m. We're using universal time coordinated and tropical astrology. Luna's activation of Lunar Mansion number 4 during a new moon at 0% light is potent for completing receptive magic spells while beginning plans for projective magic rituals. Mansion of the moon number 4 is in effect from late in the afternoon on May 10th at 5:07 p.m. until the evening of May 11th at 7:15 p.m. With the new moon occurring in Taurus the Bull at 7 p.m. on the 11th, Lunar Mansion number 4 is magically activated at the exact time of the new moon in Taurus. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Luna will be in Taurus at 8 degrees, 34 minutes, 17 seconds to Taurus 21 degrees, 25 minutes, and 40 seconds. Those are the margins during this mansion, according to Abraham. The star to wish upon inside the fourth mansion of the moon, Aldebaran, is named Aldebaran, that dwells in it's called the follower of the Pleiades, according to Warnock. Ask the angel of Alpha Tauri, who is named Azariel, to destroy all things venomous towards you, or anything poisonous towards those that you love. Sorceresses and sorcerers create representations to annihilate specific municipalities and towns, to obliterate structures, to decimate water sources, and also to decimate not only the water sources, but also to annihilate fortune hunters that search for buried riches and buried treasure. Also, to tether and or eradicate dangerous or noxious creatures, and to also cause conflict betwixt married couples. To persuade Azariel to grant you the powers of rancor and animosity to use as you will, a rendering of a combatant mounted upon his charger, carrying a viper in his right hand, is recommended by Warnock. Agrippa describes the fourth lunar mansion as being named Aldebaran or Adelamen, recommending supplication towards Azariel to unleash poison, bitterness, estrangement, and reprisals, revenge, and the kind of reprisals that are in Latin called lex talionis. And also, this is reprisals upon enemies of the supplicant, using a similar to Warnock icon, which Agrippa is describing an icon similar to what Warnock describes, of a warrior riding a steed, wielding a snake in his right hand, for magical purposes intended to cause such division, retribution, malice, also antagonism. Ancient magicians fashioned the emblem of the equestrian charging upon his mount, brandishing a serpent in his right hand, into an insignia formed of wax, possessing a red color. Now, additionally, to increase the potency of the magical talisman even further, the reddened wax symbol was scented with the aromas of red myrrh as well as storax. According to Kabbalistic lore, Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus birthstone is emerald. Rosaries and amulets using emerald for Taurus are magically potent for this praxis. Kabbalistic and alchemical planetary associations, in this instance of a new moon in Taurus, whilst transiting through Lunar Mansion number 4, could be utilized with perfumes, essential oils, herbs, or flowers, as well as colors. Planetary alchemical metals in this case would indicate copper for Venus. Copper is practical and therefore workable for this operation. Regarding the Taurus birthstone of emerald, this could be used for amulet talismans as well as rosary beads or magical jewelry gemstones. And copper could also be used for fashioning the fashioning of an amulet base, or for the forming of a rosary chain, or for jewelry settings. Now, Agrippa discloses that for Mansion of the Moon number 4, the ancients traditionally made an insignia of red wax for the specific purpose of rendering an icon of a soldier grasping a snake in his right hand, as used by magicians as a magical talisman for Mansion of the Moon, called Aldebaran or Adelamen by Agrippa, and Aldebaran by Warnock, for the clear intention of causing hatred, vengeance, cruelty, and disconnection. Red wax is not an alchemical metal, obviously, and appears to be an unbiased choice regarding the material to use in the forming of a magical talisman. The color of red, however, as to the hue of the wax, serves to mimic the reddened characteristic of the Venusian metal copper in its original state before it corrodes. It's got a reddish color to it, copper does. After it corrodes, it gets a kind of a greenish hue, like a patina. But if it's something that's properly coated, then the copper will have a reddish hue. One possible reason for the use of red wax is summed up when we take a close look at some of the traditional planetary associations for the star called Aldebaran, also named Alpha Tauri. Recognize that Venus possesses attributes dealing with relationships, and that on the negative side of the Venusian frequency is found a poisonous nature, which makes sense when we consider the aforementioned customary image meant to be shaped into the talisman. It's important to note here that according to Vivian Irwin Robson, author of the book The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, the Greek astronomer Ptolemy gives the precise planetary attributes to stars located in various portions of the constellation of the Bull. For the location of the watery, rose-colored star Aldebaran, being the right eye of the Bull's head, Ptolemy hints that this star is akin in personality to Mars. And that is if we use the process of elimination to reason this fact, that it's Mars. Okay, now we arrive at the deduction that Mars is the probable attribute of the star Aldebaran, because Ptolemy states that generally speaking, the stars in the head of the constellation of Taurus are similar in disposition to Saturn and somewhat to Mercury, with the exemption of the star Aldebaran. Ptolemy also points out that the stars found in the top of the horns of the bull are in similitude with Mars. Ptolemy mentions Venus as being the nature of the stars found at the obsession of Taurus, and in a lesser measure to Saturn. Since Agrippa reveals red wax as the material with which ancient necromancers created the conventional talisman for the mansion named Aldebaran, or Adelamen, the color red in itself gives us another clue pointing towards Mars as being the star Aldebaran's alchemical quality. The alchemical metal for Mars is iron. And iron is realistic and usable for this function, since the metal is neither being ingested nor injected in the making of a rosary chain, an amulet base, or magical jewelry setting. In summary, regarding the mansion of Aldebaran, the gemstone emerald is potent for use in the creating of rosary beads, amulet ornaments, or jewelry gems. On the topic of the metal to be used in the making of rosaries, amulets, ornaments, or jewelry gems, or if you just want to talk about affixing the metal to the rosary beads, or the amulet, the rosary chain to the beads, to the emerald beads, or the emerald to an amulet bezel, or the magical jewelry gem of, if you use emerald and then the metal, then the alchemical metal of copper for Venus is the metal to select. So you put copper with emerald, which would be beautiful if you think about it. On the other hand, if the quality of martial aggression, if you're looking for something martial instead of Venusian, then, for the design of your talisman, then the alchemical metal of iron from Mars is the metal of choice for use in the fashioning of rosary chains, amulet bases, or jewelry settings. So basically, if you want a Venusian attribute, you would use copper metal with beads or amulet gems of emerald. You'd use emerald with copper, which would be a beautiful rosary or amulet, or a ring if you think about it. Now, if you want a martial quality, a more vengeful quality, if you want vengeance, then that would be more of a, then you would use iron for the rosary chain, and emerald would be for the beads, or the amulet would be, the gem would be emerald, and the base would be iron. And that would give you a martial tonality with the emerald, which is for Taurus. And emeralds are kind of Venusian too. Now, understand that Venus has some good attributes as well, of course, love and growth and jobs and things like that. And Mars has some positive traits also, such as courage and bravery and forthrightness and straightforwardness. So it doesn't always have to be negative, but you have to look at the mansion that you're using and what the mansion is being used for. And again, if you want to go over that, you can look at the blog attached in the description box, where we have all of this information, plus the books we recommend and the page numbers that you can look at to see if you want to see how everything's spelled and all of that. Now, keep in mind that the number assigned to each mansion of the moon may vary, relying upon both the cultural and the astrological attributes of the system being used. What pinpoints the exact lunar mansion to which we are referring is made clear by the use of the star to be wished upon, or stars, as well as by the name of the indicated mansion of the moon. Like in a lot of Ptolemy's works, you might see some of the references, or some of the more ancient, actually in the Arab works, where they call it, manzils and things like that. You might see the numbers being 2 digits off from the numbers we're giving you here, which we're giving you from Warnock and from Agrippa. Okay. Now, other Kabbalistic correspondences for lunar mansion number 4 are as follows. Moon in Taurus provides qualities of decisiveness, determination, passion, wildness, and spiritual sanctuary. Also said to be seekers and obtainers of creature comforts regarding their instinctive nature. Planetary archangel for Luna, or the moon, is Gabriel. God is my strength, power of God, and a messenger of God. Zodiac angel for Taurus is Asmodel, whose divine tone is I have. Tarot card for Luna, or the moon, is the High Priestess card. You see here, she sits between the pillars of Joachim and Boaz with the triple goddess lunar crown upon her head. She has the pomegranates behind her. She has the cross on her chest, the Torah scroll in her hands. She has the water of life flowing over the receptive moon at her feet. And this is the card associated with the moon. It's associated with the Hebrew letter Gimel, which means camel, which is the path to the higher self, the crown chakra, or the Sephira, the top supernal of Kether, which is the crown chakra. And also, it means crown. And also, you can, if you want to find another correspondence, you can turn in your Bible to Psalm 119, and there we have, you can look at Alpha, Aleph, Beth, and Gimel. Gimel is the third letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and there will be your corresponding Hebrew letter and the corresponding Bible verse from Psalms that go with this card and go with the moon, because this moon, the moon goes with this card, the High Priestess. The moon card is for Pisces. That's just the way it works. And so you can utilize those correspondences if you like. Now, the Western array musical note for the moon or for Luna is F. We're going to play that for you now. It's the healing tone. All right, now, the tarot card for Taurus is the Hierophant card. The Hierophant card, he's the priest, and he sits between pillars actually as well. Now, they're not as well delineated as being Joachim and Boaz, but it's still two pillars of the temple. And he has his two attendants at his feet to serve him. And he is holding a cross in one hand, and he's doing the two fingers, which actually is putting up three fingers in the other hand. Okay, so that's the Hierophant card. Now, the Western array musical note for Taurus is E. I'm going to play that for you now. All right. Now, the information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Much of the information about star magic was also taught to me through an adjacent German pagan coven, which established satellite covens throughout the world. I was in an American coven, and I began writing a book based upon these extremely important teachings in 1988, which I have entitled to be my Star Magic Grimoire. The reference books for Lunar Mansions, the first book we want to recommend is Mansion of the Moon, a Lunar Zodiac for Astrology and Magic, second edition, with 2019 to 2033 Mansion Ephemeris, written by Christopher Warnock, illustrated by Nigel Jackson, and published by Renaissance Astrology 2019. The second book is 3 books of occult philosophy, Llewellyn Source Book Series, authored by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Nettisham in 1533, translated by James Freak in 1650, edited and annotated by Donald Tyson in 1993, published in 2000 by Llewellyn Publications. And third book is The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, authored by Vivian E. Robson, Bachelor of Science in 1923, published by American Federation of Astrologers, Inc., cover designed by Jack Coppola. And again, that was 1923. So thank you for joining us, and join us again.